I was just getting ready to teach class here in a little bit, and I was at the dojo and I was thinking about how do we overcome depression? Now, obviously, there's some different types of depression. I'm talking about the kind of depression that we do. And you may ask me, well, Josh, what does that mean? What does it mean that you're doing depression? You know what I'm talking about. You know, your shoulders slump. You start, you just want to tell somebody how bad your day was, and you get frustrated. You know, and your breathing gets more shallow. Your voice gets more muted. That's the type of depression I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, hey, I have something chemically wrong in my brain, because that's extremely different. What I'm talking about is the type of feelings that we get when something bad happens to us, or we just don't feel like getting out of bed that day. You know, here's the big deal. Emotion is created from motion. Tony Robbins used to say that all the time. Emotion is created from motion. So the first thing you got to do, you know, if you imagine what a depressed person looks like, I want you to close your eyes and do that. Just close your eyes and think about it. What would a depressed person look like? What would their body posture be? What would their breathing be like? How would they put their hands? How would they put their feet? Where would they be sitting? What would they be doing? Imagine that. Now, stand up and do something different. Stand up, stick your chest out a little bit. Breathe in deep. Move. Sometimes you got to stand up and scream, "Hallelujah, my feet don't stink today." You know what? You got to do something a little bit different. Sometimes you need to go for a run around the block. I'm talking about a legitimate run. I'm not talking about drive your car around the block. I'm talking get up and do a run. Get up and do some push-ups. Do some up-downs. Do some burpees. Make something burn. You want to overcome some depression? Get out and do it. Get out and make something happen. You feel like your numbers are different, so maybe you're in sales and you're struggling with your sales a little bit. Go out and do something real. Go out and meet some people, talk to some people, call some prospects on the phone. You know how to do it. It's not that hard. Get up and do it. The problem is we sit around and we complain and we don't take action. You've got to take action on a daily basis. If you don't do that, you're going to feel more and more frustrated. See, at the end of the day, life is 10% what happens to you and 90% what you do with it. There's been so many things. There's a guy at 3M. You guys all know what 3M is. 3M is a like a stationary corporation. They do all kinds of office products. There's a guy at 3M. He was trying to come up with a super glue solution. Here's the thing. He screwed up. He's a chemist and he screwed up. And instead of super glue, he came back with this really weak, kind of tacky glue that wouldn't really stay on anything. And so here's what he did. He cut up a bunch of pieces of paper and he put some glue on it and he stacked it all together. He handed it to his secretary. He's like, "What do you think of this?" Well, what is today's sticky notes was a mistake. Because the weak glue that he had, the sticky note became a massive success. But it's not because he sat around and went, "Oh, I screwed up on super glue." He thought, you know what? How can I use this glue that I did make? How can I make this into a win? You've got to look at each challenge that you face on a daily basis and figure out how to make it a win. You have something bad happen to you. You have a student quit, or you have a client quit. You have a friend that doesn't want to hang out with you anymore. You know what? How am I going to make that better? How am I going to put a better relationship in place? What am I going to do? I can stand up, get out, and control my future. Okay? At the end of the day, what we have is our attitude and our activity. Okay? You have all these things that are going to happen to you. People are going to be driving slow in front of you. People are going to be cutting you off. People are going to be walking slow. They're going to get browsy at lines and fast food joints and just, "Oh, man, I got to hurry. I've got an important meeting to get to. I've got a date. I've got a friend that I got to go meet, and these guys are taking forever." You know what? Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% what you make of it. So start thinking of things that you can do better. Start thinking of ways that you can get yourself to push forward and do a better job. You want to get better? Read a little bit. Find a subject that you're struggling with that you may not, it may be a time management thing. It might be I'm struggling with staying motivated. Go get a great motivational book. Listen to it on Audible. Audible is a great resource. I have a ton of Audible books that I listen to all the time. I pick them up, you start feeling bad, start listening to a little bit of Zig Ziglar, a little bit of Brian Tracy, a little bit of Tony Robbins. Get up and elevate yourself. And people say, well, you know what? Motivation's not really that permanent. It's not, but neither is showering. You got to do that on a daily basis. Zig Ziglar used to say that all the time. Oh, motivation's not permanent. He used to say, you know what? Neither is bathing. But we got to bathe every day. We got to shower every day. Otherwise, we start smelling like a bag of onions. Okay? So you got to do a little bit of motivational things every day. Get out. Do the things that, if you have a spiritual life, read your scriptures, read, whatever, something that lifts you up spiritually. And then go out and do some motivational stuff. Learn. Zig Ziglar talked about it, and I love this guy. Zig is one of my favorite motivational speakers. He talks about Automobile University. Always be listening to something in your car that is going to elevate you. You want to learn a language? Go get the language on Audible. Go get it from your local library. Plug it in your car and start listening to it on a daily basis. You got to take some massive action. If you think about it and you drive, say, 2-3 hours a week, and you're listening to nothing but a language, say it's Spanish or Russian or German, or it doesn't matter what it is. It could be calculus. It could be some sort of advanced science concept. Whatever it is you want to learn, you listen to that an hour every day. You're going to get so much better. But if you just sit around and you continue doing the same things over and over and over, you're never going to get measurable results. At the end of the day, go get some results. You've got to go get some results. Find something that's going to fine-tune your process. If you're struggling, like I teach martial arts on a daily basis. People ask me, well, I'm really struggling with my kicks. Are you practicing at home? Well, yeah, I practice at home. Well, how many kicks you throw a night? And the truth starts coming out. Guess what? They're not practicing that much. They might throw 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kicks a day. That's not going to get you good. You got to throw thousands of kicks, and you got to throw them with precision. Some people, well, I'll just go faster. It's not about going faster. You got to learn how to kick first, and then you throw it faster. Throw it perfectly. Get it better and better and better. There's that old adage that practice makes perfect. It does not. Practice does not make perfect. It makes permanent. If you practice a golf swing over and over and over that's wrong, guess what's going to happen? You might get a little bit better, but you're going to ingrain that technique in your life. That's going to be how you swing. Okay? So practice does not make perfect. What it does is makes it permanent. So if you slow that swing down and you want to get that thing perfect, and you have a golf pro come out and help you with that swing, and they make micro adjustments in your swing, that's when practice applied properly makes perfect. So if you perfectly practice, you're going to approach that perfection a lot faster than just practicing something over and over and over and duplicating an error. We go onto the photocopy machine and we have a document, we put it down and say, okay, well, copy that. Well, if there's something wrong with the original document that we don't want on there and we hit copy, the copy is going to come out the exact same. And we can practice that over and over and over, and it's going to keep coming out wrong. What you've got to do is change the original. You've got to get out. You're the original. Change you. Get better. If you're struggling with your basketball, find a basketball pro, someone that rocks at basketball. If you want to get better at three-pointers, find somebody that is the three-point king or queen in your world. Anybody that you know. Say, you know what? Can you come teach me how to shoot the way you shoot? Show me how you did that. Can you watch me? Can you teach me that process? Find a mentor. Because at the end of the day, you look at our founding fathers. Our founding fathers believed in the process of mentorship. Okay? One of the reasons Thomas Jefferson is so brilliant, or was so brilliant, is because he had a mentor. Okay? Mr. Wythe, okay? He mentored with this man for a long period of time and got a lot of extra help. Benjamin Franklin, same thing, had a mentor. You have all these major founding fathers. The reason they were so brilliant, they had mentors. So get a mentor in your life. Get somebody that will lift you up, somebody that will help you push. You find somebody that's financially successful if you want to get better finances. You say, you know what, you're running a killer business right now. How are you doing? Can you teach me to do what you're doing? Start a mastermind group. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, great book. Okay, Napoleon Hill talks about a mastermind group. He started his mastermind group with people he imagined. Okay, he studied the lives of these men like crazy, and then he would okay, what would Thomas Jefferson say? What would this guy say? What would this guy say in this situation? So he created his own little mastermind group that way. But in our community, what you do is you just find somebody that's really great at something. If you're not great at sales, Find a sales ninja warlord and say, you know what, can you mentor me? I'm really struggling in my sales. What type of books do you listen to? What type of tapes do you listen to? How are you elevating your level of sales success? What are you doing on a daily basis to become a better salesman or saleswoman? You know, you find somebody in every industry. It doesn't matter what you do. I promise you there is somebody out there better than you. As a martial artist, I had to do that all the time. I would find teachers that were better at it than I was. And all the time I'm looking for that edge. Okay, I found a teacher, Jazer McFarland, fantastic guy. Okay, I was a brown belt level, and I thought I was pretty good, thought I was pretty hot stuff. I went up to the summer games and got absolutely destroyed by a guy named Steve Hansen. Okay, I was a brown belt, I was beating black belts in the dojo I was at. I was like, yeah, I'm hot stuff. Went up to this tournament. Steve Hansen absolutely destroyed me. He beat me by 1 point. But when I was done, I could barely move. I fought at the edge of everything I had the entire fight. It's on my YouTube channel. You can go back and look at it. It's black belt Steve Hansen versus me. And he absolutely destroyed me. And I started looking around. I'm like, man, I got to get better. And I couldn't. My current instructor just didn't have the time to work with me. And I ran into a guy named Jazer McFarland to the Washington County Fair. Jazer McFarland taught me more about how to win a point fight than any person. For almost 2 straight years, I trained with him on an almost private basis. And guess what? I got pretty good at point fighting because Jazer was my mentor. He was someone that helped me elevate. Okay? Jazer's a great fighter. Okay? Then I started saying, you know what? I want to get better at close quarters type of stuff. I ran into a guy named Christopher Barella. Absolutely ninja warlord at close quarter stuff. Taught me some amazing concepts. Couple of years I trained with him exclusively, spent a lot of time in private lessons with this guy. I learned immense things from him. Okay, he got busy, we got separated. I started my own studio, and I was looking for a mentor. I was going through DVDs constantly, just gleaning for anything I could find. Ran into a guy named Troy Burchett, and he teaches a system called Black Dragon Systems. He does Black Dragon Karate, or Kempo Karate. He does Black Dragon Chin Na, Black Dragon Trap Fighting. Does a whole bunch of stuff. I got all of his DVDs. He used fantastic stuff. And I learned a ton from his DVDs, but I was missing the human touch. I was missing, hey, you know what? If you step here and move here just a little bit, it'll help you. And I just kept buying more and more DVDs and going through different stuff, and I was learning some great concepts. And then this little guy walks into my door. His name's John Goff. He walks in and goes, hey, you know what? I teach private lessons, and you know, I don't know if you're looking for a teacher or what, but I teach little kids. I don't teach little kids, so if you want to do some, you know, if I run into some kids, I'll send them your way. And I'm like, you know what? Absolutely. Give me your number. And we talked a little bit later, and I just said, you know what have you done? And he told me some of the things he had done. I was like, I absolutely need to talk to you. So he comes in, he walks in, and initially my response was, this guy can't be that good. He's just a little midget of a guy. I have never seen a human being move the way he moves. Absolutely stellar martial artist. We did some grappling. He absolutely destroyed me within 10 seconds. I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, okay, let me out. Let's do it again. And we just kept going. We kept going. I couldn't believe some of the concepts he taught me. And he brought some of his high-level stuff and started working with me. I was a third-degree black belt when I started working with Master Goff. I already kind of knew a lot of stuff. This guy opened my mind like you can't even believe. Absolutely destroyed some of the misconceptions that I had. Knife master, and we spent a lot of time on some knife work, and I was like, I can't even believe this. Where was this like a year ago when he's like, I'm here, man. I've always been here. And I just run into this guy, and guess what? He has changed my quality of training extensively. I'm a much better martial artist today because of what he's taught me. You know, so I've had my mentors. I've had people that have really affected my life, and the list could go on. I had a guy named Mark Wilson that really helped me out, helped me grow from my martial experience. I had a guy named oh crap, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. It's been a lot of years, but he taught me some not Chin Na, but Wing Chun. Greg Lobel. Spent about 4, 5, 6 months with him training in Wing Chun. Guy was an absolutely phenomenal teacher. I loved training with him. I learned so many different things from so many different teachers. My father taught me some amazing things growing up. You know, find a mentor. Find somebody that is doing it better than you and ask to mentor with them. They might charge you, but guess what? You might think training is expensive. Well, guess what? It is expensive, but ignorance is excessively more expensive. You know, there's a lot of people, oh, you know, college is expensive and degrees are expensive, and the working with a master level of any trade is expensive. Well, of course it's expensive. You're paying for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of experience. What we have found is that training is a drastic improvement because it's an acceleration of experience. You don't have to spend the 20, 25 years that this person has spent developing this craft, because they're going to accelerate your experience extensively. Find a mentor. You've got to go get a mentor. Get up and do something, okay? If you're struggling, and you're feeling depressed, get up. Take some massive action. Go find a mentor. Go get something done in your life. I promise you, your life will get so much better as a result of finding a mentor that you respect and trust. You guys have a great day. Go crush it.